Right now on Upfront.
Budget battle.
This is an incredibly challenging situation.
Wisconsin's largest school district with a dire warning. The budget plan from Milwaukee Public Schools Superintendent, and now the intensifying feud with the teachers union.
It's infuriating.
Now some candidates for governor weighing in. This Sunday, MPS Superintendent Brenda Cassellius on the record. Plus Democratic candidate for governor, State Senator Kelda.
Then state of emergency.
I'm wet all the way up here.
Tornadoes, flash flooding, leaving a path of damage across Wisconsin. Evacuations ordered, interstates shut down. Wisconsin Emergency Management Administrator Greg Engel is here with the latest.
And gavel in. The governor ordering a special session on redistricting. Democrats show up, Republicans with an unusual move. WisPolitics' J.R. Ross with his new reporting moments away.
This is Upfront with Jaron Jordan and political director Matt Smith.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. High stakes this weekend for the state's largest school district. And now some candidates for governor are strongly weighing in. Milwaukee Public Schools says it's facing a roughly $46 million deficit ahead of its next budget. It's now led to a tense standoff between district leaders and the teachers union.
MPS Superintendent Brenda Cassellius has proposed cutting jobs, many at the district's central office, and delaying teacher raises. But she also wants to hire more teachers and paraprofessionals. The union has said the plan and delayed raises disrespects the dedicated staff we do have and must retain. Dr. Brenda Cassellius joins us now. Dr. Cassellius, welcome back to the show. Good to see you.
So good to see you both. Thanks for having me.
We'll get into some of these details in the midst of this budget process in a second. First, I'm just curious your broad reaction to your plan. Were you surprised that there's been this much reaction to what you've been proposed?
Well, you know, we have dedicated, valued employees, and I think that, you know, the inflation right now is pretty high. And of course, it's tough for everybody. Some of our teachers work 2 jobs. So absolutely, I can understand where they're coming from and why they want to get their raises right away. At the same time, the district is facing quite a huge budget deficit that we need to be responsible with. And asking our teachers and staff to wait 4 months for a little delayed raise, I think, you know, is something that would help us in the district to make up some of that deficit.
And walk through some of these proposed cuts. You say many of them are in the central office. I'm curious, how do you cut nearly 200 positions yet plan to hire 89 teachers and 60 paraprofessionals?
Well, you have 264 positions that we're closing out, and we're adding 90, and then we're adding about 70 paraprofessionals. Do the math, and you have additional revenue there to be able to invest then into the deficit and into other investments with the district.
And so you said that some of those district jobs can be rehired in classrooms. Is that already happening right now?
That is. We have a year-round strategy now for hiring and doing staffing our schools and staffing our district. We have a new chief of HR who's doing an incredible job of that. We started with 19 schools a few months ago that we identified that were really hard to staff. These are schools that had constant turnover, schools that had substitute teachers in them, and we wanted to make sure that our students got a permanently licensed teacher in every single classroom. It wasn't as successful as we'd hoped it had been to get that staffed, but we're committed to staffing on those priority first, and then we'll put the folks who have been accessed into other positions as they make their choices on where they want to go for schools. We think almost all of our staff that has been accessed will be able to find a position within the district.
As you know, the teachers union is asking you and the board reverse the job cuts, implement the raises immediately, essentially pause the budget process. Any of that going to happen?
That would not be responsible. We have to make the very difficult decisions to tighten our belt, to make sure that we're spending within our means. We have been overspending within the district. We have to have really good, sound budgeting so that we know where every dollar is going. What I'm trying to do is not only look at budgeting for this year, but I'm looking at budgeting for the out years too. Yeah. We only have about $14 million left of the referendum that we can spend in the budget year past this one. And so we know that by FY28, which is the funding year, school year 27-28, we won't have any new additional referendum dollars. Now, that doesn't mean that the money that's already given isn't being repurposed year over year, but any new additional money won't go in, so we won't be able to meet all those inflationary costs that we have. Just this year alone, health benefits are going to cost us $20 million more, we anticipate. So we have to get ready for that, and we know that we'll have to continue to negotiate with our union partners on inflationary increases every year. This is something that we do to match salaries, to stay competitive, and to meet the demands of the job. Our teachers work really hard. They deserve to be well paid, and so does our staff. And I'm committed to that, but I can't do that if I'm not responsible with how we're spending that.
What would happen if Act 10 went away and the unions could fully bargain again?
That would be wonderful. Actually, I think I've always been a supporter of unions and labor. I think they play a really important part. I actually said to the union I'd want to be one of the first ones to have our contract in place. I think that having a contract sets the expectations, sets the working conditions for our teachers, treats teachers as professionals and the professionals that they are, and really outlines how we establish the good working conditions around children's learning.
Is MPS current in its financial reporting obligations to the state?
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Yes, and we're actually ahead of the game for FY26. We already did a push to the state. Certainly, we're not perfect. We still get some validation errors. And so as we continue to move and implement that new system, we meet with the state every week, and they give us feedback, and we resolve matters, and we're really excited about where we're at right now.
You talk about 2028 and the referendum money ending. Is there a scenario then we ask for a new referendum in the coming years?
Well, I've not ruled that out. I've tried to be really honest with the public. I have said that I do think there's a point where we need to come to the public for referendum. I think there's also a point to have a conversation with the public around our buildings. The age of our buildings is 85 years. They are really getting at the lifespan of their use. We know that we have to think differently about school over the next decade, and that's a conversation I hope to have with the public.
And everything we just talked about comes back to the students, right? Reading scores, math scores, what people look at, and how students come out of MPS. As you reflect on your first year, as we look at the budget ahead, how would you assess where the district is?
Well, I think we are moving. Most improved, maybe. Give us the most improved award. Not yet there. And very optimistic about the future. If we get a successful vote from the board, we should be in really good shape for the next school year. The next one will be a little bit tougher after that, according to the forecast, and it gets really tough in 5 years if we do nothing. We could be facing a $400 million deficit within 5 years if we do nothing.
Milwaukee Public Schools Superintendent Dr. Brenda Cassellius. Dr. Cassellius, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you both. Appreciate it.
As you just heard, the teachers union strongly protesting the superintendent's plan.
The most disturbing thing about the superintendent's lies are the countless paraprofessionals and children's health assistants that have been told this week that they have either been cut from their school's budget or that their hours have been reduced.
Now, a number of Democratic candidates for governor are publicly backing the teachers union, including State Senator Kelda, who this past week received the endorsement of the state's largest teachers union. We talked with her Thursday. People took notice when you got WEAC's endorsement. Did you fight hard for this?
Well, I earned it because of my policy positions, because of my plans for public education, and because I think they recognize that this election is in some ways existential for our public schools.
The union statewide is not as powerful as it once was. Does this endorsement still matter?
It's the most important endorsement that's going to happen in this Democratic primary. They have the most reach, they have the most resources, they have the moral authority, representing 70,000 educators and public school support professionals across the state of Wisconsin. And people in this state love their public schools.
Did you promise anything to receive the endorsement?
Absolutely not.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Let's talk about the state of the race. More than half a dozen Democrats in the field as we sit here looking ahead to August. What is the state of the Democratic primary in your eyes?
Well, I think that Democrats are looking for a candidate who can win the primary, who can beat Tom Tiffany and who is ready to govern in what is going to be a very difficult but potentially transformative era for the state. We have an authoritarian regime in Washington that is in many ways hostile to the state, right? And we need to protect ourselves from the many harms of the Trump regime, whether that's violent ICE raids or illegal tariffs, cuts to health care.
You and several other Democrats still polling in the single digits, according to Marquette. How do you break through that between now and August?
Well, the truth is, Matt, the vast majority of Wisconsinites have not even started paying attention. I wish they were all watching your show. But, you know, you need to go on TV, you need to buy name ID, and that's the way that we do it in this state. I've been traveling around this state, not just in this campaign, but, you know, for over 2 decades, working to build Democratic power and to hear people's concerns where they are, even in some of the reddest and most conservative parts of the state, like where I'm from. And I think those relationships have put me in good position to build a winning campaign. And WEAC certainly wouldn't be investing in me if they were not confident that I were the best candidate to beat Tom Tiffany and to be our next governor.
What do you make at this point that Francesca Hong, state representative, and Mandela Barnes, former lieutenant governor, are the only 2 polling above 10%?
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me because, you know, polls are a reflection of who spent money. And we spent, you know, tens of millions of dollars trying to elect Mandela to the Senate. Unfortunately, that was unsuccessful. He underperformed the top of the ticket by, I think, 4.5 points versus what Tony Evers did. You know, when you spend a lot of money early in a race and don't have that money to communicate later when voters start to pay attention, you know, that is a choice that one could make. But I think the smarter choice is to use your resources when voters are starting to pay attention.
When voters go into the booth in August, are they going to see at least 7 names on the ballot for the Democratic primary, do you believe?
Well, I don't know, but they're certainly going to see my name.
All right, coming up, state of emergency, severe weather slamming Wisconsin, tornadoes, flash flooding across the state. Wisconsin's emergency management director is standing by with the latest.